I like how the first, 20 minutes of us setting up and recording is just us,
chatting.
Literally farting around, not doing anything.
Hi!
We're live!
We're live. I'm forgetting what's happening. I am Champ Champenstein.
I am Heather Hadfield.
And we're Talk Comics to Me.
I said my whole name
You
this time.
did.
I did it right. It is October 15th. It is October 15th, 2020, and it
Handy
is
calendar.
7:05 p.m. Central Time, Omaha, Nebraska.
So you might be watching this on a Monday, Tuesday. Who knows when I got this loaded up. Sorry, y'all.
This is the date, just in case you want to know, of when we recorded this. And we're here to talk about our comics this week.
Yeah, so if we die between now and then, this was the last thing we ever said. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're watching it.
And I am wearing the shirt that is in 90% of the videos that we make. I went through and screenshot every single time I'm wearing this shirt. It's so often, it's silly. It's really silly.
I probably wear the same stuff every time, too.
The hat, for sure, except that's a new hat.
New hat, everybody!
Yeah. This is my usual hat.
All
Since my hair is growing out, I have to keep it hidden. That's it.
This is proof of life, and we're here to talk about comics.
We are going to talk about comics. So I'm going to go first. So this is issue number 1 of a series called We Live. I didn't actually add this to my poll or anything. I just randomly read it yesterday at work because I thought the cover looked really cute. And the cover also does this.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Which,
that was something that really turned me on.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. So I'm going to try to simplify it. So it's about the destruction of human civilization pretty much over the course of 100 years, something like that. It explains how, humans destroyed the earth and then they slowly destroyed each other. And at the point where the story starts, human life is going extinct. So they get a letter message from an alien life force saying, we've dropped these boxes onto Earth. They have bracelets in them. They are for 5,000 kids. We will save these children. We will keep your human race going. But if you have to meet at this place in time, there's 9 different meetups where they can meet throughout the world. And the only people who can leave are the children with the bracelets. The bracelets, when you put them on the original person, they create, it's like a symbiotic relationship with that person. So if you try to take it off, it no longer works. It's done. So the bracelet cannot be used again, and that kid has been taken out of the running, I guess. Okay. So the story is about a girl. They don't really give an age, but I assume she's not too much older than her little brother because she's still very childlike. She ends up finding a bracelet and she gives it to her little brother, meaning that he is going to live and she will not. So she is trying to get him to one of the meeting places so that he can leave. But he's
I thought that was a little cat.
Well, and that's the thing is he is very, obviously he's young, so he's very imaginative. They give him this helmet that kind of lets him see things differently because the world that they live in now is terrifying. Very scary. There are these creatures where if you get bit or attacked or scratched or whatever by one of these creatures, it changes you. Your entire DNA layout. So the world that they live in, again, is very scary. So the mask that he is wearing, the helmet or whatever, it changes the way that he sees things.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So it gives him more of a cartoon
Dude, this sounds tight
look
as
on
hell.
the world. Yeah, no, it's so...
It sounds so good.
It's so good.
The art is that. I flipped through it the other day, and the art is really what caught me, but now that you talk about the story, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's...
The solicit had to have been really bad for this book.
It's, because I thought the same thing, because I had considered it briefly, but there were other, I believe, Giga?
Yeah.
And Origins was also within that same previews, and it's all kind of the same... general idea, yeah, where it's a post-apocalyptic world. But this is just different because it's, it's these kids... And the fact that these aliens are we will save only the children. So it makes me think that there's something else. There's an ulterior motive. But
yeah, I might have to put this on my pull file.
Yeah, I'm going to leave this here so you can read it because it's...
Yeah, that sounds like something that's, like, straight up my alley of shit I'd like.
Oh, yeah. And it has, like, a little explanation as to how the sister is responsible for the brother, like, how that came to be, how they got to where they are. And then at the end here, we all know I love, like, maps.
Yeah.
They have maps.
We all know.
Yeah, they have a map and it kind of explains like where they're going to be going, where they have been, and then, you know, the key and stuff. But it also has this little like infograph that explains the importance of the bracelet.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this story it surprised me. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, when you're reading the past, there is a little... I mentioned to you, I got a little misty-eyed.
Yeah.
Because it's... The way that it's written is just... It's beautiful. I really enjoy this book. I recommend it. I think as far as post-apocalyptic stories go, they nailed it.
All right. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's...
And you know I love post-apocalyptic stories anyway,
Yeah.
but, like, I think the direction that they took in there and the fact that they're following, like, two kids... The brother is like, he's so young and innocent and he just doesn't really understand what's going on, so he's kind of, I don't want to say he's a dick, but he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And the girl's like
kind of like the kid in Sea of Stars.
Yeah, kind of like that. And the girl, you know, she's like trying to protect him when she's not that much older than him, and she knows that she's gonna die. Like, she knows that she's not gonna make it, so everything that she is doing relies on him. It's really good.
No, that sounds really great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Damn, dude, I don't know how to follow that up, even though the book I have is
wasn't expecting to like go that deep into it.
And like we practiced names and stuff, and now I'm still really nervous. Okay, so now I have The Magic Fish. This is by Trung Lee Nguyen, and this follows our main character is Tien, and he. Sorry, dog tried to get on a chair. Freaked me out.
Smacked his head.
And his parents are immigrants, and his mother is his mother, at least at the point I'm at in this book, I'm only a few pages in, is trying to learn English, and the way that she does that is through reading stories together with Tien, and at some points he is actually reading the stories to her. The one thing I really love about this book is, I mean, the art is really great, but also the colors are just so amazing. And they kind of shift through like parts of the story. So when you're dealing with the main character and his mother, they're in kind of like pinkish hues, and it looks like later on like maybe yellow hues. And then the like fairy tales that he's telling to his mother are in like blue, like dark blue hues. But I'm really excited to get farther into this book. I only had a chance to kind of read the beginning. This is one actually I probably will like carve out some time to read like right now, because I've been oddly like excited about this book for a few like months since I ordered it and since I heard about it, because it popped up on my Twitter feed quite a bit, and I was like, well, I'm interested. And then when I read it and like what it was about, I was like, I don't know, I just want it. Like, I'll just get it. And I don't know. There's something about it that's, like, really... It kind of feels like home, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like, with the colors and, like, the way it's written, it just feels...
I'm going to look at it.
It feels, like, really comforting. And even though I know I'm not very far into it, I know there's going to be other dynamics to it, because it's about also, you know, coming out and having the words to say that.
So... They're Vietnamese. The fairy tales that he's telling, are they Vietnamese stories, or are they...
I believe, like, I know at least the very first one that he's telling, like, there's one about, like, I don't know if it's the story that's told throughout. Once again, I am not very far.
Right.
But it is a Vietnamese story, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry. I read this on Wednesday night pretty late.
I just assumed that it was just based off of, you know, like, I don't know, the translation from Vietnamese to English. I'm sure it would be easier if you were doing, like, fairy tales that you're already familiar with, that you grew up with.
But, I mean, even then, you know, like, fairy tales have, like, different cultures kind of have the same fairy tales, even though they're different at the same time.
There's, like, twists on some of them, right.
I mean, fairy tales have to come from somewhere, right?
That's true.
We've
Very
got
true. That's a whole nother
I
story.
was saying that's a whole nother fucking podcast, right?
We already have so many podcasts right now, so
we can't even do the one.
I know. We get so distracted.
That's why we haven't posted on Instagram in like a whole week.
Yeah. Stay tuned afterwards for some news about our next podcast that we're doing. Okay, so
next.
We both have 7 secrets. I got it right this time.
Yeah, you did it.
This is issue number 3. Do you want to go into this a little bit?
So in issue 1, we see Sigurd die, who is the dad of, why am I blanking on the main character? Casper.
How do I know that?
I know. And I knew this all through the other podcast. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the father of Casper, and this is kind of his, like, eulogy issue, I guess is the best way to describe this. Ava gives Casper the box that Sigurd had left for him, and within that box there are gifts for all of the years that Casper has been alive. And then there's a trial for him to be the keeper, or the holder? The holder, sorry. The holder of the secret, and be able to, like, be with Ava. Basically be her partner and or actual son.
I love him in the jacket. He looks so good in that jacket.
The jacket thing is what really, really got me. Honestly, if you're not reading this comic, you're kind of missing out. Mm-hmm. Like, I know. Everything about everything he left him is just, like, kind of perfect.
Yeah.
It shows you who Sigurd is as a character and a person, like, the gifts that he gives to Casper. I can't recommend this enough. It just, I don't know the way to describe it, like, because it draws you in so quickly, and you're just in love with these characters, like, immediately, and you care about them. Like, I was holding back tears as I was reading this issue because of just, like, certain moments of, like, the things Casper was saying, and just his appreciation for, like, who Sigurd was, and not understanding that he loved him but couldn't, like, show that love. And that just, fuck, dude, like, what is that? Like,
and I think I really like how this kind of goes a little more in depth with Casper as a character, because you get to see, like, while he's doing these, like, trials, you get to see the kind of person that he is, and the kind of person that he is, despite not being raised by his parents, he's a version of his parents. Yeah. Like, you know, when it comes to, like, what's right and what's wrong, and then, like, protecting people, and then just how gentle he is while still just being very reasonable about things.
Yeah, I know. This is just one really, really great book. The art is really solid. The writing is phenomenal. Like, the colors are great. Like, I can't...
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this book, like, at all.
I'm really into the bad guy.
Yeah, the bad guy's really bad.
He's really bad, but I mean, that looks like me in high school.
Dude, I knew that was something you would like. Like, looking at that dude's like, yeah, no, Heather's gonna like this dude.
I don't know.
Come on.
Yeah.
You have a type.
I do have a type.
It's like red hair or like black and emo.
There is no in between. It's one or the other, always. You're not wrong.
I know.
I hate that you're right on that. It's how it's always been.
We've been doing this long enough now.
Yeah.
I mean, we've hit this point where we've, like, hit our stride of friendship and podcasting.
You're like, there's a redhead. We gotta hide him quick, otherwise Heather's gonna get attached. What if there was a book with a redhead and an emo, and they were both bad guys, but they were fighting each other? Which person would I cheer on?
I mean, are they anti-heroes, or are they just both, like, pieces of shit?
Both.
All right, well, you'll just have to write this story. We'll see what happens.
Okay. That's my next podcast.
A story is not a podcast.
Oh, I'm going to make it a podcast. Have you ever heard lore?
Yeah. No, I guess there are story podcasts.
Mm-hmm. And okay. I listened to one of them. This is Atlantis wasn't built for tourists. This is issue number 2. This follows the main character, and I cannot remember his name. Joe, I think it is.
Let's call him Joe.
I'll just call him Lucas. His name's Lucas. So in the first issue, Lucas is on a kind of walkabout from point A to point B, and while he's there, he passes through the small town of Atlantis. He gets run off the road by someone who's either like trying to leave or coming back, which she's not supposed to do. There's a curfew in this town because there's monsters. So you find out that Lucas is also a monster, but he's not the same kind of monsters that live here. So in this issue, the sheriff is like, look, dude, you have to leave. We were nice to you long enough. You need to get out of here because you're causing trouble.
Are they friendly monsters? I don't know why for this whole time I've just imagined like friendly, like Monster Inc. monsters.
Not to that extent. I think they're more tolerated than anything, which is why they're like not allowed, like there's a curfew. And it's because the monsters are vampires. So I think that has like something to do with it.
I don't know why my brain was like, yeah, they're just Monster Inc. Like,
and you know,
there's like Sully and Mike in here, and it's
that's
just
honestly what I was like. I'm at right now too. I'm just like, yeah, they're nice monsters. But Lucas is a monster too, and he is not as agreeable as the vampires in Atlantis. So he kind of makes a deal with the sheriff, like, hey, let me stay a little bit longer, and I'll take care of your problem for you. Mm-hmm. And then shit goes sideways. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I still enjoy this, especially because I'm not exactly sure what kind of monster Lucas is supposed to be. I just think it's a really, like, fun monster story. Like, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just, it kind of is. But I enjoy the colors in it a lot because they're really, like, dull.
Yeah.
And, like, muted and stuff. And I'm just curious to see how fucking Lucas became a monster and, like, why he's there to begin with. And the cops are bad, so go figure.
Surprise!
Yeah. So, yeah, Atlantis wasn't built for tourists. This is a Scout comic, and I've been enjoying a lot of Scout books recently.
Yeah, I got a few Scout books coming.
I'm so excited for you.
I don't know. You are usually the person who streams more outside of independent books. Like,
I try to, but I mean, for the most part,
I'm too scared.
I know.
I'm too scared
because I mean, with like the smaller, really small labels, that is a thing that I constantly come across. Is like when they're bad, they're really bad. There's no justifying like getting them, but sometimes there are some hidden gems, and I noticed that Scout has a lot of hidden gems, so I will take that risk.
Yeah, and I mean, I like I said, I have ordered a few Scout number 1s now off the like last couple of previews, so yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll see.
I hope you weren't disappointed. I don't need another drink. I need to go potty. Is what I need to do. I will be right back. I didn't go before we recorded.
Okay, so as Heather is using the restroom, the facilities, I will talk about Bleed Them Dry, which is a vault book, and I will read the back of it since Heather is gone and I have no one to talk to. The City of Asylum demands blood. Toyo Yamamoto and Detective Harper Holloway have been separated, with Harper exposed as a traitor and Toyo missing. The sadistic detective Atticus Black has claimed victory. Our divided immortals will have to reckon with the past, present, and future before reuniting. I've actually really been enjoying this book. I didn't know how I'd feel like after the first issue, but now that I've gotten this far and the story has like built itself up, it's really, really enjoyable. I think I want to go back and read the last few issues just because I do enjoy it so much, and I think that if I read it as a whole, maybe waiting until like the 5th or 6th issue, like when the first arc is done, I'll get it a little bit better. But I just really like how this particular issue starts, because it starts with Holloway talking with her ex-girlfriend in her apartment as she's like one of the most wanted people in the city, and her ex-girlfriend is like, hey, you need to tell me what's going on or I'm going to call the police because you should not be here. Like, you're going to get me killed. And Holloway's like, you're not going to believe me. And her girlfriend's like, well, you need to tell me, otherwise I am going to be very pissed. And so she tells her the truth of, like, what's been happening, how Atticus Black is the bad guy, how she's been turned into a vampire, all of these layers of this story, because there are a lot of layers. And her ex-girlfriend's like, no, I don't believe you, and I gotta call the cops. And she, like, turns, like, vampire and is like, I'm gonna kill you!
Love that.
So, yeah, that's that issue. There's a lot more to it, because there's also a group of people who used to work together to rid the world of bad things that are coming together to try to get rid of Holloway and Yamamoto. Or Toyo Yamamoto.
Okay.
So, yeah. No, it's, like I said, you were in the restroom, but I don't know if you heard me.
I tried to, but
I was
my
trying to
pee was really loud.
Okay, I'm gonna cut that out. I probably won't, but I was saying that within the first couple issues, I was iffy, but I don't know. I really dig this book.
I know the last one you said you were kind of surprised at how much you were enjoying it.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's also because it's just, like, it's a vampire story and there's, like, I don't know, weird cop shit involved. Because once again,
Cops are
bad.
Never saw that coming.
Yeah. If I've watched enough horror movies and anything that's fiction in general, cops are bad.
Except Officer Dewey.
Officer Dewey is probably... no. Wait. Yeah, no, I would still... He's just too dumb to be a cop. He would probably shoot somebody on accident.
That's true. Yes. I agree.
So, yeah. Anyway, cops are bad. Ready to talk about this book?
That's what we're getting at here. So now we're doing this next one.
I don't think either one of us actually have anything to say about this. This is Rorschach. This is issue number 1. I actually added this to my poll, so we'll see.
That was one of those books that I read it with no previous knowledge other than Jackie Earl Ray. Is that his name in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Who plays him? I really like him as an actor. That's the only thing I know about Rorschach. So I read it, and I don't think I understood anything that was going on. I think I literally just read it and it was gone immediately. Like, it was like writing down an essay and then burning it. That's what it was for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I've read Watchmen on more than one occasion, and maybe I just need to go back and read Watchmen again. I don't got time for that.
Dad, I never had time for it. That's why I've never read it.
So fucking dense. It's really it's Watchmen's also another podcast for another time.
Number 3, we're coming in.
We're coming in now. Yeah, I also had very little opinions about this, like, book at all. And I don't know if it's just because it was kind of just, like, introductory and there wasn't a lot to it besides kind of setting up the story.
Mm-hmm. There was one thing that I really enjoyed about it, and I think it was the art.
I would say the art is great.
Yeah,
like,
to be honest.
Out of all of the good things about this, I love Tom King for nothing else besides him being able to work with the best artists in the biz.
Mm-hmm. I think, because they said in here it was the year 2020.
Okay. I must have blocked that out of my brain.
I can't remember where, but I do remember seeing that somewhere and being like, oh, okay,
oh, wait,
weird.
no, I do remember that, because isn't it, like, it's, like, towards the end?
Yeah, because it's, like, they say the date or whatever.
Yeah. Because it's, like, anything can happen in 2020.
Yeah. So I did like that a lot because the art makes it look like a 70s. Like,
yeah, no, I also had no idea.
He never left over 1974, so we know it's not the 70s. But I did like that about the art a lot. I thought that was really cool because when I started this, I was like, oh, God, it's another 1970s detective story. And they were like, no, it is 2020. And I was shocked. The fact that he still has a beeper. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
A beeper?
That is a beeper.
I was like, it sounds too easy. That can't be what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I've read a lot of Tom King, and I just feel like maybe he just needs a break. Or maybe he just needs original characters to do himself and just, like, I don't know, he just boxed himself in and just, like, kind of keeps himself there, which...
Yeah, my thing is he is now just writing the same story. Just like I said to you, like, they're just murder mysteries the entire time, which is fine because he's good at that, but I'm like, I want more because I know he can do more. I know that he is a very talented writer. I just wish that he would expand a little bit more.
Yeah. It's like there's a block here, but he's like, well, I can still, like, bring out these stories. And it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't. Oh, no. I feel bad.
Did I make it up? I swear.
No,
it's something about the 20s
definitely,
in here.
It's definitely in there.
I'll have to find it later. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, as someone who has no previous knowledge or information on Rorschach, I just read it because it was Tom King. I just... Maybe there will be more to it, but I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have my issues. You can read them.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things I hate read so much.
Yeah, like, this is Strange Adventures. Issue number 6. I enjoy this story, not as much as I had hoped to, but I think that, especially, I like the back and forth pacing of it.
The dynamic between Mr. Terrific and Aaliyah is really, like, entertaining because it's kind of jab for jab. Mm-hmm. But it just, like, the story, like, feels like it lacks substance. It's just, like, I think I know what's going on.
I think what I'd mentioned to you is, like, the conversation between them. And I think the reason I like it so much is because she is used to manipulating stupid people. She thinks that she's smarter than everyone. And he finally is just like, I know what you're doing. And I like that.
Yeah, no,
I think that, like, stresses her out because she's like, well, how much more can I get away with? Like, what can I say to, like, throw him off? And he knows because he's fucking smart.
Yeah, I do like Mr. Terrific, and it does make me just kind of want, like, a book with him where I can have a different writer who I feel like can, like, expand on it a little bit more.
True.
Because it's like, oh yeah, no, I think I could dig this character and like what they do, but I don't know, because I also read The Terrifics, which Mr. Terrific is in,
right?
And I didn't really like those first couple issues.
Okay, yeah, I have no previous knowledge of him either, so I mean, what I'm reading here is like the extent of what I know about him, and I don't know. I would like more. I would like a different take or perspective. I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, again, the one redeeming quality about this whole story is just the art. Like, the artists that they have on them. My God, incredible.
Yeah. It
both
is,
of them.
I would say, yeah, both of them. And it's like, they're going hard. Like, just so hard. They're like, you know what? I'm going to make the best book we can make and collaboratively. And it looks just gorgeous.
The fact that, like, I don't know, the setup of it, again, like the past and the future, or the past and the present, like the fact that they have like two separate artists on those and it's consistent the entire time is so good. Because I'll be reading it and I'm like, oh, this is the present, damn, this looks good. And then I go to the past and I'm like, damn, this looks good.
Yeah,
and
it's so good.
Good all the way around.
Yeah. Yeah, that does just make me wish the story was just like a little more. Like, and maybe, like, it could have just been done in, like, 6 issues.
I agree, I think, or 8.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel
I guess
like
we'll see as it, like, continues, but like I said, I just feel like I get what's happening. It's just like, okay.
Because, I mean, he is also one of those writers, like, that kind of throws you in and doesn't give you too much, gives you a little bit at a time until it gets to the end, and then he just, like, lays it on you, which is fine, but I feel like, again, for this kind of story, like a murder mystery, we don't really need that. We get it.
Yeah.
We understand it's a murder mystery.
It's gonna be like another Heroes in Crisis situation, and
which was a true crisis.
And I figured it out, like, 3 issues in.
Yeah.
And then I was like...
And we had to deal with all the rest of it.
Yeah, and I had to deal with all the rest of it, and then I was like, well, dude, I figured this out. I did this work.
And that was only 9 issues.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it felt way more than 9 issues.
I'm pretty sure it was only 9 because I feel like it was 9 and then just like
a
a
couple extra side stories. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, we're sorry.
Next. So I have this cute little book. It's called Sick Tats. It is a flash quarantine. So at the beginning of the COVID outbreak here in America and everyone was quarantined, staying at home, everything was shut down.
Doing the right thing. If you're going out, you go to hell, motherfuckers.
Yeah, if you're going out, just don't bother existing in my life. It's stupid. It's unsafe. You're being careless, irresponsible, selfish, whatever. Anyway, a group of artists here, I'm not sure how many there are, maybe like 20? 25? They all submitted flash pages of their art for this zine. And it's just, an art book, but it's just different styles of art. Some of them are themed for quarantine. Some of them are like, stay-at-home tattoos. But no, I mean, like, I just randomly got this because they didn't.
Guess you can't.
Like that?
Nope, it's still
didn't work.
It's gonna be backwards forever because it's mirrored image.
But yeah, it's just a book of artwork that people did when they were quarantined, stuck at home. I really enjoy it. I like the fact that it's themed while also not being like themed at all. I really like art is basically it. This is one of my favorites. Where did it just go?
Yeah, I love it.
It's fantastic. It's put out through a little company called Silver Sprocket.
And Silver Sprocket puts out a lot of really, really good little like zines or like little comic books. I've been getting a lot of Silver Sprocket books. That Radlands book I got was Silver Sprocket.
Oh, okay.
That Magic, the
magical girl,
like the murder girl one,
the one that was kind of like Sailor Moon.
Yeah, but she murdered people.
Right. I can't think of what that's called. I just ordered those two for my little sister.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, fantastic.
And then the
toot. Oh
my god! Can I just get one of these as a tattoo? Is that a thing I can do?
Absolutely.
Off the ska page.
Rude champ.
And then the Marie and the Worrywart one.
Oh, yeah, Marie and the Warrior. Yeah,
that's also Silver Sprocket. So, yeah, a lot of really solid books from Silver Sprocket.
Yeah, so you can obviously order this through the Silver Sprocket website, I assume, or your local comic shop. It's only $10, and I feel like for the quality of the art that's in it and how many artists there are in here.
And the pages look nice. Like it's a sturdy looking zine.
Yeah, it's a fantastic little zine. I am glad that I, on impulse, decided to order this because
I'm a little jealous. I decided
I love
against
it. Yeah. And honestly, this isn't something I would normally get.
Yeah. That's when I saw it, I was like, did I get this? Because I remember fully thinking it out and almost having it written down and being because we're now on, I'm also just there's so many of these where I'm I get all of these tattooed on my body.
Yeah. I everything on this page, to be honest, yeah. Yeah, like that.
This looks like Megatron.
Oh my god, it does.
Okay, you gotta put that away.
Yeah, Silver Sprocket, this is Sick Tats. So, I think if you like art, you will enjoy that quite a bit, and I recommend it because there's no words. Well, no reading. There are words. You just don't have to read. Anyway.
All right, so now we have a Once and Future. This is issue number 12, and I think this finishes out the story arc. Holy shit.
It's beautiful.
This book is so good.
Yeah, I love this book. Watching Duncan come out of the water, my redheaded angel with his ripped sleeves, stomach and chest hanging out, I was into it.
I was just really loving the first page where Grendel's mother was busting through the wall and accidentally kills the taxi driver and kind of makes Duncan feel the hurt of what it's like to lose somebody on accident, I think. Yeah, this is, once again, one of the best books, like, running right now.
Yeah, I could go on forever about how much I love this, but I will not. I will just say that if you're not reading it, what is wrong with you? Idiot.
It's a really solid, like, well-rounded story, and it's not, like, too, like, I know I say this every time because I just want to, like, emphasize, like, I know Kieran can be heady, and this has, like, a really heady premise, but it's very approachable.
Oh yeah, and it's done in so even if you're just like vaguely familiar with the stories that are told, it's not confusing at all, which I really enjoyed, because I am very familiar with these stories. I love these stories. But like my roommate, DJ, for example, he was not familiar with them, but when he was reading it, he understood exactly what was going on. Like the way that they're retold, or the different style that the stories are told in, are very approachable.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. So the second trade probably should be here. I'm going to flip to my phone real fast. I'll let you know when it's coming out.
It should be very soon.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of pieces moving right now. Some new introductions. I'm very excited to see what story comes in next. Very excited.
Okay, so the second trade comes out November 11th. First trade's already out. Go grab both, dog. No reason not to. Dan Mora art.
You know I love that.
Yeah.
More art. Tamara Bonvillain. Is it Bonvillain?
Yeah. I always say Bond villain because
I know.
think it's great.
I always pronounce it wrong too, but I'm pretty sure it's Tamara Bonvillain.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Colors, beautiful. Kieran Gillen, magnificent as always.
Yeah, no, this is a just super good story, and it looks so good. I've loved the last two issues because there's, oh my god, I'm going to sound like you. There's lots of blood, but it's done in like just such a really brutal, graphic way, and just so like, this is also an action book. Like, there's so much action going, and you can tell by like how this particular issue is set up because of the pause and then the continuance of the story. Anyway, yeah, definitely grab this thing. That was like my favorite part. I really did love the pause. It was just like, all right, the book's over, but you know it, but you know it's not, and you're like, oh yeah, I get that little. It's like after credits.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the first story arc in it too. Yeah,
I love some after credits.
It's beautiful. I'm excited. It's probably one of my favorite stories.
Yeah,
I just love it so much.
Yeah, we accidentally have done that a lot. This.
Okay, are you ready?
I suppose.
Okay, so we have Willow. This is issue number 4. If you tuned in last week, you'll know that we were confused by the way that Buffy was set up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is Willow discovering that the town that she is staying in as a guest in or whatever is not quite what it seems, which has been the running theme throughout the last few issues. But you get confirmation from another person who is there that this town is just a little wonky. But
it's also like about her like really accepting and diving deep into the town itself too,
and being accepted for like who she is, not just like as a witch but as like a lesbian too, because multiple people there, you know.
I wasn't ready for you to say lesbian, I guess.
I could tell. Did I word that wrong?
No, you said lesbian just fine.
And you were like, oh god. She's a lesbian. But yeah, I mean, I still find this quite enjoyable, but again, because of like Buffy last week, I'm confused as to how this could end.
Yeah, no, I think that's the problem, is because I feel the same way. I'm just like, well, what happens? And that's why it makes me like question what happened in that Buffy issue, because I'm like, was that actually real? Because it seems real,
right?
But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, and I really think that might have just, honestly, like we said last week, just been a COVID problem. Hopefully, like the issues come out soon and we can just figure that
Right.
out.
Well, and the next Buffy issue is going to come out before Willow, the last Willow, which is what's confusing to me. I don't know. I feel like they should have finished Willow first. But again, COVID, shit's been wild this year, so whatever. Want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much about this because Champ has not read it yet. This is Lost Soldiers. This is issue number 3 of 5. If you have not read this, I personally would recommend it. I love Alain Scott. I think that the writing is fantastic. Luca Casalangida, I believe, is the artist. Don't make that face. I think...
Okay, I don't have headphones on, but this was the face I made.
That's the face. So this follows up from the previous issue. The 2 main characters who were in the war together several years down the line, they are part of like a mercenary group. This follows them being betrayed again. Like they had been in the war or whatever, and shit gets wild. People get killed. I wish I could remember their names, but like it had been so long since the previous issue because this actually came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the main character who you've been following the whole time. He's the one that's kind of having the issues with adjusting to the real world, and now since his family has left him, this is all that he has left. And because things went wrong, he's struggling to find his way. And being a part of this like mercenary group has given him direction, has given him hope. And because of everything that goes wrong, he no longer has that and he cannot accept it. So with the loss of his partner, not by death, just no longer partners, he is in it alone again, and he refuses to quit. So that's where it's going. I really liked that issue because it was like reading or like watching an action movie, like especially like the shootouts, like everything that's happening.
Yeah.
It's just it's really, really good. I really love this story.
Plus the colors themselves.
Yeah, the narration in it I think is what I love the most. And I can't even really explain it. It's just, as you're reading it, it's just done really well. All
right. That makes me very excited.
Yeah, I really love this. You know how much I love my war movies and stuff, so it's perfect. Especially because it's a war story, but it doesn't take place during the war.
Yeah.
Like, you get...
They give you those glimpses.
Yeah, you get, like, flashes of it and stuff to, like, kind of set up where they are and like where they're going and stuff, but it's not focused on that, which I like. I think it's cool.
All right. So now, I made Heather read this.
And I read it.
Because there's not very many words. It is Dracula motherfucker.
It's fantastic.
It is fantastic. This is... I knew I was going to enjoy this because this book just is right up my alley of things. It's Dracula, some 1970s like horror type like exploitation film. So I was just like, oh yeah, no, I will enjoy it. Also, it still smells like new ink.
I know. I kept doing that when I was reading it at work. I was like,
I made Chris, like, when I opened it, because, it was wrapped in plastic so
ooh,
beautifully.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
And I opened it, and it just smelled like new ink, and it's just so good.
We love the smell of new ink.
New ink is so great. So this is kind of just a retelling of Dracula in the 1970s. Basically, the brides are trying to take down Dracula no matter what. They take him...
You just... Oh, that was good.
They nail him to the bottom of his coffin in the 1800s, and then in the 1970s he is released. He tries to sire new people, and
his brides just aren't pleased.
Yeah, his brides are not down with that. And then there's also another character, Jonathan Harker type character, but his name is Quincy Harker.
Q.
And yeah, it's just the colors. Mm-hmm. The colors are the thing that, like, the art is amazing. The story is really great. But the colors really, really set the tone for this book as a whole. I can't open it without...
I'm a sucker for narration.
We're just getting high off this book.
I did really like the narration in here because it was Dracula. Like, that was how he communicated, and that was how, he was talking, was like... Because it took me a while. There was, like, one page in particular that the way that it was done, I just loved so much, because in the notes, the artist was talking about how they were doing, like, full-page spreads instead of, like, panel layouts.
And the reason they did that was really, really cool, too.
Mm-hmm. Where is it? This one. How dare you, worthless females.
Yeah.
Ungrateful. Yeah, I just loved it. This was my favorite page. Because of that.
I just wish I could have, like, it makes me want to rip my book.
I know. Well, and that's like, when I was reading it, I was like, what does that say? Because I couldn't see the F, and I was like, Amalie.
Yeah, no, I was like breaking the spine of the book, so I was like, what does this say? But I am gonna pick up that alternate cover, the slip cover from Escape Pod.
Okay. And I mean, you should check on the artist's like website, see if they have prints from it too. Like posters.
Erica has a threadless.
Okay.
One of those like type pages, and her art is amazing.
Yeah.
And every single thing she puts on her threadless is brilliant. And she's very into like the same sort of like niche things I am, because she has like an Arnold Schwarzenegger commando shirt on there. So
you love Arnold.
So you can only know that like I obsessively follow Erica, and that's like part of the reason I got this book.
Makes sense. I feel that.
Because I was just like, oh yeah, like this is great. And I can't complain. This has been like one of the best books.
It's like me with Dan Moore. I was reading fucking Santa Claus shit because I'm so into his art. Like, I don't care about Santa Claus. I don't even like Santa Claus, but Dan Moore draws it.
Yeah, she's the same artist who did Unbeatable Squirrel Girl.
Oh, okay.
And did the Assassin, not the Assassination. Yeah, Assassination.
Yeah, Assassination.
Yes. Assassination.
Assassination. I know that.
Okay, so now we have Vampire Masquerade.
This is Winter's Teeth. This is issue number 3.
What you got?
It's just following our main character, Cecily, and her little progeny as they try to solve murders. A particular one. And on the flip side, there is another group of vampires who are just up to no good. And their stories are going to obviously intertwine because it has something to do with each other. But what I was telling you was I liked this half of the story because I really enjoyed following
that
King.
Guy, yeah.
Yeah, I thought his story was really interesting, and I don't know. I enjoy this story quite a bit. I was, again, pretty confused when I started reading it because I couldn't remember what had happened, like, in the previous issue that was leading up to this. But I think, like, once I was reading it and getting into it,
you kind of get a feel for what's going on.
Yeah, and it goes more into depth with Allie. Is that her name? She's a newly turned vampire, and all vampires have like a one specific trait or ability or power or whatever that they are able to do better than everyone else. Cecily's is she is very strong, and they just try to discover what Allie's is, and it has there's a battle in there with some bad vampires, and I don't know, more of her personality is explained in this because you get to know more about
her.
Yeah,
same. I think this is like at that point in like most stories, like that 3 issue where you're just like, okay, grasping at like what's going on.
Yeah, and I
think it's like a little bit mid-ground right now.
I enjoy the art for it, and I do like the story.
Yeah, no,
but
I think I like the art quite a bit.
Yeah,
and I think when I was reading this issue, that's what I liked the most was the art.
Yeah, same. And I mean, despite the fact that it is pretty confusing, I do like the fact that they are telling two separate stories, and they are going to be part of the same.
I also like that they're separate writers on both stories too. So.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting story, and I'd say if you like vampire stories, you'll enjoy it.
Have had a few vampires this week.
Just a couple, yeah. Yeah. Is that all I had, too? Just a couple?
I think I had more vampires than you this week, which is weird.
But I read it. Okay.
I'm going to run away one more time.
Okay, so I don't have much to say about this anyway. So this is new. This is Swamp Thing... Twin Branches by Maggie Stiefvater, and the art is Morgan Beam. This is one of the DC graphic novels for young adults. I am not very far into this, so I'm not quite sure how the story is going to pan out, but it follows the story of two twins named Alec and Walker Holland. They are completely different people. One of them's very quiet and reserved, while the other one is very loud, boisterous, loves women, that kind of thing. So it follows them during their last summer before college. And again, I'm not very far into this. I'm not quite sure what's happening, but there is something about this art. I don't even know. I love Morgan Beam. The only other art that I've seen her do is in that story, the Buffy Chosen Ones, I believe. I think that's the issue. It was just a one-shot that had like 3 different stories in it, but she did the art in that one. So the art and colors in this are just beautiful, fantastic. And if you are not familiar with Maggie Stiefvater, I don't know how to say her name. I'm so sorry. She wrote the story The Raven Boys, which was a series that I had liked when I was a little younger. Young adult, that kind of stuff. But it's just their own take on a origin story of Swamp Thing. So we'll see when I get there. But I've been enjoying it so far. I'm only like maybe 10 pages in, because it is one of those, like, despite how few words there are, there's so much else to look at because the art is just, it's beautiful. I love it.
All right.
So we have Red Mother. This is issue number 9. This follows Daisy saving her friend from an attack in the chapel. In the previous issue, some stuff happened with Ian, who is the man that she was banging. And that goes more into depth here in this issue, although it's never really explained. It just kind of goes deeper into, like, what happened to him. Still don't know. Can we talk about this art?
Yeah, I mean...
Because I love it.
I would say, I know you love the Danny Lucard art. I don't know, this, like, is just kind of, like, the middle of the story, like, not a filler issue, but, like, a building what's happening issue as a whole. And it makes me very intrigued. The face. Yeah.
That's, like, one of my favorite parts. Yeah. She, like, kicks the door open and is like, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I just thought we had to open this door.
Yeah, I'm intrigued right now, like, where it's going, because I thought her friend
was a bad
guy.
Yeah. No, I thought that too. And I also, her boss, I don't know why I can't remember his name either, Leland.
He's definitely a bad guy.
Yeah, and that's also what I'm, like, trying to figure out, is because he's, like, being deliberately facetious.
Or is it a red herring? Those exist in horror movies.
I know.
It's like reading a horror movie.
I know. But I am excited to see where he comes into play, and how her friend comes into play also, and how this is just evolving, because it's such little steps throughout it. But again, like we had said in the previous issue, like, it's never really boring.
No.
Because there is so much going on, and you're like the puzzle boxes she's putting together, you only get little pieces at a time. So
Yeah, and you know it's gonna have an ending. Like, you know it has to, like, conclude in some way. But I think it's more so, like, figuring out, like, the pieces, of the puzzle that we're being given.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, to know, like, what's actually happening.
I'm glad that I picked this book up. I've been enjoying it since the beginning, and, you know...
Yeah.
Danny Looker, I will read anything if it has his art in it, but unlike the last story that I read where he did all the art in it, like, this is still continuously solid. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. There's never, like, even the filler issues, like this one, again, not really a filler, but just kind of...
It's just, like, giving you once again, the pieces. It's like, here's a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm still so interested with everything that they give, because it's very slow moving, but... It's built in such a way that it's very interesting still.
Yeah,
so.
Agreed.
Good job, guys.
We love it.
Yep. Okay, so I have not... Oh, damn, that's a good picture. So I have not actually read this yet. This originally I got as a gift from my little sister for Christmas. Mickey, don't look. She never watches this anyway, so I don't know. I'm sorry.
Just tag her. She'll watch it this time.
Well, it's funny. I actually sent it to her to see if she had it or not, and she's like, is that a Christmas gift? And I said, no.
Do you know about this?
So this is the complete collection of The Winter Soldier. Again, I got this as a gift, but I am actually going to read it because I enjoy...
Because it doesn't smell like new ink, and she won't know.
It smells kind of new. Just not like Dracula.
This week we'll just get high on books for you.
Yeah. But yeah, so no, I am going to read this, and I will give you a full review and a grading. A+ on the smell, that's for sure, as soon as I get it read. So if you have read this before, let me know what you think, because aside from the few things that I've seen him in recently, like the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I have not read much of Bucky. Yeah.
All right. I was like, wait, where are
That's different. So I'm just going to pull this up right now. We both have this. This is the X of Swords, the official handbook. This is so cool. I have not, neither of us have actually read it yet. But
so we don't know if it's cool, but we're making that assumption.
Well, I flipped through it, and I saw what they had.
It's like a book.
Yeah, but it goes into depth with, I assume what it is the characters that are going to be fighting with the swords.
And it's like the history of, like, so there's the history of Apocalypse and like his story. There's the history of Sword in here. It's just like history of like Captain Britain. So yeah, it's just like going in depth into all of the people you're going to be seeing, what they're doing, also in depth into the island.
Yeah, which I was very excited about. There's a lot of reading in here. A lot of information that I don't know if is, like, crucial.
I'm going to have to get out my, like, school highlighter.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that same thing. But it also goes on about a few characters that were in, like, House and Powers that we necessarily haven't seen yet within this new story. But yeah, no, it is each person, I assume, that's going to be fighting with their swords.
I think this is the only time I've ever wanted a handbook for, like, a event.
Yeah, I am very pleased with this. I didn't originally even like order this. I just, oh my god, we only have 2 minutes left.
I'll have to make two videos.
Okay,
one just about X of Swords. But the back of this does say, The Dawn of X continues with this all-new official handbook of the Marvel Universe collection covering the mutants of Krakoa, just in time for the X of Swords crossover event. These profiles will bring you up to speed on some of the main movers and shakers from the Mutant Nation.
Yeah, so maybe there's more? There will be more of these?
Possibly. No, I wouldn't. Is there? Okay. Well, are we going to waste this last 1 minute of our time on Instagram?
I think that means that there is going to be more of these, because the Dawn of X continues with this all-new official handbook.
And this goes over Apocalypse, Captain Britain, so Brian Braddock, Elizabeth Braddock, Cypher, Gloriana, Gorgon, Krakoa, Moria McTaggart, Magic, Wolverine.
And just
And
X-Men
Sex-Men.
in general. And Brew also.
Yeah.
I forgot Brew.
So, my bad. Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, that would be cool if they did put out multiple of these, not just for, like, X of Swords, but just, like, X-Men in general.
Yeah, I mean, just because there's so much X-Men lore, and they do explore so many X-Men within Dawn of X and House and Powers and even X of Swords, you're introduced to so many mutants you might not know, and that shit can be a little daunting.
A little.
And if you're not like us who just, like, don't care and just gonna do
'cause
a
there's,
podcast regardless.
There's only a handful of, like, X-Men that I've always been, like, interested in, so all the other ones just kind of fall by the wayside. But it would be cool to know more about them. Hi, we are back. Sorry, we have been talking for too long. We got cut off, and my phone's dying, so we are different.
And lastly, we just have 3 X of Swords books. X is gonna give it to you. First, we have Hellions. This is issue number 5, but part 6 of 22 of X of Swords.
Wait. Oh, Cable number 5. Okay, I was like, wait, I thought Cable was part 5. Just kidding.
Yeah.
This is so confusing.
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers, a lot of titles. It's a confusing thing. But yes, Hellions is the first part of the next part of X of Swords. This is Sinister proposing this idea that the Hellions go undercover and try to steal the swords from Crackle.
Crackle
and Pop.
Araco, yes. This also, so this picks up obviously where the last ones had, where Apocalypse has, been mortally wounded. Rockslide was killed, brought back, not quite the same. And what is his his actual name? Empath?
Yeah, Empath.
He was brought back, but he was regenerated for at like a different time. So he doesn't remember what had happened, and they don't know if he is okay still. So they go in to where they are with the knowledge that if they do die, they will either not be brought back at all, like it's a final death, or if they do get brought back, they're not going to be right. So it's essentially, if they fail, it's a death sentence.
So yeah, it's a suicide mission. It's really interesting just because it does not seem like it's going to go that well.
No, of course not. No. I agree. I don't think it's gonna, because the thing is, in theory, it's a good idea, but you obviously know, based off of how Satirn has been working, that she is aware of everything that is going on. So, no good outcome. I personally don't think.
I don't think so either. Which is, like, oddly scary for all of these characters, where I'm just like, I don't know, like, I really like you, and I don't want to see you just, like, murdered because Sinister was like, well, what if we did this?
And it does seem really silly that, it does seem like a really bad idea, but the fact that, like, they all agreed to it, knowing that, like,
I think it was that idea that there was, like, an alternate, like they could make an alternate outcome of it. Like, it was more so, like, if we can protect everybody more so as a whole, like, and don't have to win or lose, we can just make them forfeit. Like, this is for the best. But I don't know.
It just seems like
it's too risky.
Yeah, too risky, and
especially
they're
for
just not thinking it through all the way.
Especially for such, like, a green kind of team,
Right. They are new. They're only, 5 issues in?
Yeah. They're only 5 issues in, and they just have, like, fresh bodies, too.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't know. It seems very foolish.
Yeah. Agreed. All right.
And I can't believe that the Quiet Council was like, yeah, okay, like, majority rules, you're going to have to do it. That seemed so wild to me.
I don't know. I think it was also the fact that they were just like, yeah, sure, Sinister, your idea sounds like, I did like the fact that they were like, you should probably go too.
Right.
So then next,
New Mutants.
We have New Mutants, issue number 13. This is part 7 of 22. And this is all about Doug. and how Doug speaks to Krakoa, and how Krakoa doesn't want him to leave and go and do this event because he's the only way that Krakoa can speak.
Yeah, literally the only way. And, Doug is not as skilled as other people who will be fighting in this tournament. And that, again, the outcome does not look good.
Yeah, it does not bode well. Magic is also trying to teach him how to fight during this whole entire issue. And I feel like he does learn because he wants to be able to succeed, but...
Yeah, I do. I really like that about him, too, where he, knows that it's not going to come out good, but he wants to do the best that he can because he wants to do good.
Well, and I think it's for his friends. It's for everybody. It's for the greater good, and I think there's something that's relatable in that way. Like, if you're somebody who has, I don't know, I guess a good heart.
Yeah. He's a very sweet boy.
Yeah, you're just you want to do the best for your community, even if that means risking everything to yourself. And I don't know, I think that's Krakoa wants him to see that he can't do this, and Krakoa knows, but Doug just is too pure.
Because it is one of those things where he just doesn't want to look like a coward when he could have done something.
I don't know if it's just that. I don't think he's so much worried about looking like a coward.
No, not necessarily that. But I mean not doing it when he had that ability to and he wanted to.
Yeah.
I guess coward is the wrong word. I just mean...
Don't call him a coward.
He's not a coward, and this proves it. This proves that he's not a coward. But I think, I don't know, it is, again, him wanting to do things because he has that ability to, and, he doesn't want it to be he's refusing to do it because, I have other things I need to do.
Yeah.
He wants to do this.
And he doesn't want to look scared either. So
right. I think that's more or less what I was trying to say is, despite the fact that he is most likely terrified, he doesn't want to appear that way.
I mean, I don't know how you couldn't be.
Yeah.
And I think the idea that, Cypher is something more than, what they're, making him be. And, I think that, I feel like that might come through in, the next few issues of, what's happening in the X of Swords event. Because, Doug's place isn't done. He's got to learn more.
I feel like he's too important.
Yeah, and I think that, his communication and, the fact that he hid Cypher for so long, there has to be, something more to that alone. To that alone.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how his story plays out, because that is one person that I just was not expecting to be a part of this
giant
battle. Yeah, this huge event. I was not expecting it at all. And I've never really cared for him before. Not that I don't know, I don't love or hate him. I've just never really read anything with him. But after reading this, I was like, I love him. I don't want anything to happen to him. Why are you doing this to me?
And then lastly, we have Cable issue number 5, part 8 of 22 of X of Swords.
And this is Cable.
This is finishing up the story where Cable put his sword into the space station to try and power it up. And you find out there's some bad shit on the space station.
There's more to it.
And basically Magic is like, dude, you need to get the fuck down here because we got a giant thing happening here. And then he's like, but we also kind of need to just search around this space station.
But we have things going on up here, too. Mom, Dad, please.
So, basically, shit goes awry on the space station. You find out about possibly another enemy. And this builds the foundation for Sword coming into play.
And our next contestant. So, at this point, we have 6. We're halfway.
Yep. So Cable, after all of this space station shit, goes home, claims his space as a sword bearer, and is like, yo, Doug.
Knight of the ex-army.
Yeah, that's not wrong. Yo, Doug, you also, like, fighting in this? Yeah, I didn't know you did swords. And Doug's
says,
like,
no, I don't.
and Gable's like, oh.
And it's a very, I think, a profound, like a small but profound moment, because you realize the extent of, like, where everyone is in terms of their ability to fight, and then how our sweet little man Doug is just not.
And I think it also just, like, puts everybody, like, they know the gravity of the situation. And it's not that I don't think Doug does know. I think that he...
I mean, none of them were really given a choice.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. That's all it.
Those
That's
are
all
the
it's...
experts.
Yeah. So thanks. Thanks for tuning in for this hour.
An hour and a half almost. My gosh, that was a long one.
This will only be an hour once I cut time.
Yeah, because you got to cut out the pee-pee.
I gotta cut out the pee-pee. But
Pee-pee poo-poo, man.
We'll see you next week, next Thursday.
Maybe one of these days we'll get back to Wednesdays, but that's for us to decide.
Yeah, and until then, we love you, and we got something cool coming for you in the next couple weeks, and we'll actually be better about, like, posting and doing shit like we should be doing.
Yes. In the next couple of days, because I'm working on that tonight.
Okay.
So we'll put up a little preview of something, get some opinions, and then you'll know for sure what this surprise is.
All right, so we love you. Go buy comics. Support your little comic book shops. Take care of each other.
Support your friends. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Antibiotics if you need them. Antibacterial. Anti-cop. Anti-everything.
Don't go out, please.
Yeah.
Just order your food in. Pick it up. Go home. We love you. We want you to survive. We want to survive, I guess.
It's October, but the pandemic is still going, and it is getting worse.
Especially if you're in Nebraska.
Don't be an idiot. Just because Pete Ricketts is okay doesn't mean everyone is. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to our leaders in Nebraska at all. They don't care about you. Listen to us. We care about you.
All right.
That's it. Sorry.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I love you so much. So much. Okay.